Hey, brilliant people. So today's question is my intuition always right? So is my intuition always right? Well, the answer to that question is the answer to every question, which is it depends. So, of course, we then have to figure out, well, what does it depend on? So, our intuition, we're looking at it from one context. And when we ask our intuition a question, it will give us an answer. But that answer, just like the rest of life, is dependent upon the context. So this is why we actually talk about that intuition. A lot of it's got to do with focus and intention. So the more specific our focus can be, the clearer our intention can be, the better chance we have of making sure that our intuition is correct. Because a lot of the times when people get muddy answers with their intuition, it's because the question that we've been asking, to our mind, it maybe doesn't quite mean what we think it means. Let me give you an example. I've talked about this example before. Whatever you do, do not think of a pink elephant. So of course you thought of a pink elephant, didn't you? So this is what I'm talking about. It's like when you ask your intuition a question, you need to be sure that what your mind is focusing on is going to be what you actually want the question to be. So, for example, I often use money because, it's an example that we all understand. So if you set your mind a question, like your intuition a question, like, how am I going to pay all my bills? So it's a really useful question, but what picture do you get? You get a picture of bills. So the problem is that we've got a little bit of a misalignment in the question itself. Whereas if we change the question to what we actually want, so what do we actually want? If we're wanting to pay all of our bills, we're wanting to have disposable income at the end of the month. Okay, so we could ask, what's the best way for me to have disposable income? Gives you a very different picture, doesn't it? Because it immediately changes the context. And that context is from what we call negative gain, like trying to avoid something, and changing it to positive gain, like we're trying to create something. And that enables us to actually start from a much better place. Because when we're focusing on something that we want, more of us is going to be in alignment with it. And it's that internal alignment that enables our intuition to be most accurate. So that's what it depends on. It depends on, when you're asking the question, how much of you is really aligned with that answer. And if there is a conflict in the question itself, your intuition is going to be conflicted, so you're going to have a fuzzy focus, so your results are going to be fuzzy. So work on your questions, work on them being more specific, and you can try the question out by asking yourself the question and just looking at what picture pops into your head. And if the picture in your head is actually not what you want, then you might need to rework that question until you get the question in your head that you want. And you'll feel the difference. You'll feel how much better that feels, how much better that fits. So do that, work on the specificity of the question and what I call your pink elephants, because that'll enable your intuition to be right more often and therefore become more reliable, and that will help you to remember that you're brilliant.